Hey friends, welcome back to the Homegrown Hopes podcast. Today I'm joined by my little friend Coco here. If you're watching on YouTube, then you'll be able to see this. She was my daughter's Christmas present, and she is a Maltese Beagle cross, which, once upon a time was just a mutt, but now it's a boutique breed. Anyway, we'll see if she'll behave. But today we're going to be talking about something that I think every homestead or backyard garden or even apartment balcony should have, and that's medicinal plants. These are plants that you can grow right outside your door that can help with everything from scrapes and bug bites to colds, upset stomachs, and so much in between. This is one of those things that I've dabbled with here and there and had zero confidence with in the beginning. And I'm just still pretty low confidence, but I'm getting there. And so I want to share what I've learned. So I feel like we, and I speak for myself here too, have gotten so quick to run to the doctor or the store for every little thing. And I'm not saying, blanket disclaimer, I am not a medical professional. Go see your doctor if you feel that you need to. Ooh, my microphone. Anyway, but I do feel like there are a lot of things that we can take care of at home. And this is the way that our great grandparents healed themselves oftentimes, at least for the little things in between. And it's one of those things that we've lost, some of the skills that we've lost. So I'm going to walk you through 10 medicinal plants that I think are so valuable to every home, how to use them, and some simple growing tips and how to help you get started with this. So why would you even want to grow your own medicinal plants? I think it's one of those things where you really do have to want it. This may not be interesting to some folks. It's very interesting to me. But when you grow and harvest your own medicine, it's fresh. It's full of life. It's got a really high potency when it's that fresh. It can save you a ton of money. Seed packets are very cost effective when you look at the amount of output. And, a seed packet is way cheaper than a bottle of cough syrup. It's a great thing also that it cuts out the middleman. There's no supply chain. Your medicine's not coming from halfway across the world. There's no worrying about it being out of stock. You kind of have that control in your hands again, which is something that I really value. And even if you're not trying to be 100% self-sufficient, because, I've talked about, I don't love self-sufficiency. I love community sufficiency. I think it really is neat to kind of have a little bit of peace of mind of having your own first aid garden and learning how to take care of certain minor things. And if this is, something that you feel like you don't want to grow, but you want to have these stocked in your medicine cabinet, then connect with someone locally. Herbalism is such a beautiful thing. We have some really incredible herbalists near me who I've learned a ton from. And if there's something that you don't feel comfortable using or growing, or maybe you don't have the space to do this, I highly recommend you connect with someone local. So let's jump in. Top 10 medicinal plants. All right. So for each plant, I'm just going to kind of talk. This is surface level. I, once again, am not an herbalist, but I will just give a little basic knowledge on the plant, how to grow it, maybe some recipes on how to use each one, and how to prepare them and harvest them. Homesteaders, listen up. Are you ready to take control of your health and find real answers that address the root cause of your concerns? Let me introduce you to Healing Nutrition, a private nutrition practice that's all about supporting your journey to better health with whole foods and personalized care. At Healing Nutrition, Mandy Nix, a fellow homesteader and functional registered dietitian, is here to support you with weight loss and sustainable lifestyle changes, managing diabetes, prediabetes, and thyroid issues, gut health, and improving digestion. You might recognize Mandy as the owner of Henry River Farms. That is where we host the Holistic Homestead Conference. Mandy and her family grow and raise their own food, making whole, natural eating a way of life. Her passion for fresh, nutrient-rich foods shines through in her work, helping clients connect their health goals with real, sustainable nutrition. Mandy also offers nutrition testing, like food sensitivity and nutrient deficiency testing to cover the why behind your symptoms. And it doesn't stop there. Healing Nutrition's Katrina Detter, another experienced dietitian, specializes in weight management, PCOS support, helping you build a healthy relationship with food. Here's the best part. Most insurance plans cover nutrition counseling with a dietitian at 100%. That means you can get personalized support without the extra cost. If you're ready to feel your best and align your health journey with the whole food lifestyle that you love, visit mandynixnutrition.com or call 828-513-0217 to book an appointment and learn more. Healing Nutrition, rooted in whole foods, rooted in health. Go check them out today and take the first step toward a healthier whole food lifestyle. So the number one is garlic. I love garlic in my food, but I really love garlic in my medicine cabinet. So it's a natural antibiotic, it's antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal. It is a powerhouse plant. It's great for colds and flu, ear infections. It's wonderful for supporting their immune system. We have used it for earaches in our household many, many times. I'll crush it up, saute it in some olive oil, let that cool, and actually use it as a drop in the ear. It's wonderful for that, and it really, really soothes the pain very quickly. You can also do crushed garlic in honey, and that will preserve it, and you can take a spoonful of that each day as an immune booster. Also, garlic is one of the main ingredients in fire cider, and I will put my fire cider recipe in the show notes here. That is a kick in the pants for your immune system, especially during cold and flu season. It's so easy to make, and it's really versatile. You can drink fire cider straight, or you can add it to like dressings or recipes. It's really great to have on hand. So that recipe is super easy to make. It's like onions, garlic, peppers, like jalapeno peppers, citrus, and it is just packed with vitamin C and so good for you. And garlic is really easy to grow. It's one of my favorite things to grow. I have a whole series on my blog and on YouTube about growing garlic. You plant it in the fall, you leave it alone, and you harvest it in the spring. It's wonderful. Okay, the next plant that I want to mention is elderberry. Elderberry has gained a whole lot of popularity in recent years. It is a legendary immune booster. You can actually find it over the counter pretty regularly now. You know, local health food stores carry it. Even our local grocery store has elderberry gummies in stock. Now, oftentimes they do have fillers and little extra things, but elderberry is packed with antioxidants. It's great for preventing flu, for respiratory issues. It's incredible. We actually started growing elderberries on accident. We had a chicken coop at our old house, and of course, inevitably the chickens would get out sometimes. For the most part, they stayed in, but occasionally one would fly the coop. And evidently one got out and ate some elderberries from the ditch. They grow wild here in western North Carolina. And when she got back in the coop, she pooped out an elderberry. And we noticed this little sprout coming up, and it kept getting bigger and bigger. Eventually, it grew all the way through the top of the chicken wire. We had like an outdoor run for them. It grew all the way through the top of the chicken wire. It is a huge tree now, loaded with berries. If I can get to them before the birds do every year, then I'm good. But I love making elderberry syrup. So easy. You boil the berries, you add honey and spices like cinnamon, and clove is a great one to add. That's another really high antioxidant spice. And you strain it and you drink it. And it's so simple. I even have, not that it's medicinal, but I have a really neat recipe on my blog for elderberry or elderflower cordial. It is it's not a honey taste, but it's a really nice, light floral taste. And I love having that in the springtime. I will sacrifice some of the berries to get the flowers, but you don't want to eat the berries raw. They're not good. They can make you nauseous. But as far as using them in a syrup, absolutely excellent at keeping you healthy. Just a great immune boost. Anytime we take elderberry and fire cider all winter long, and anytime we feel like somebody's coming down with something, some runny noses coming, we kick up the elderberry consumption. Okay, quick sip before the next one. Number 3, yarrow. Yarrow is this beautiful flower, and it comes in all different colors, but it is the first aid herb. It stops bleeding. It helps to lower fevers. It relieves cramps. It's wonderful for wounds, for, as I mentioned, lowering fevers. And it's a really, really easy plant to grow, and it's super versatile. It will grow just about anywhere. It spreads like crazy. I planted one little plant several years ago, and every year I have to pull it up and thin it back. You can cut it fresh and use that as a poultice. You can dry the leaves and flowers. I have a whole jar of just flowers that I've dried and leaves that I've dried by my tea kettle. I'm pointing like you can see. It's by the tea kettle in there. And I love to add that to teas. It's really, really just a great support for your body. A good tea blend would be elderflower, as I mentioned before, peppermint, and yarrow. I really, really like that little tea blend. And it's super simple. It preserves its potency really long term. Even if you do it in like a tincture form, it's a really great way to use it. And it's a perennial. I love something that comes back and I don't have to baby it. I'm not good at babying my plants. I'm good at sticking them out there and I hope you make it. And that's always the ones that do the best, but it thrives anywhere. It's great in poor soil. You really don't have to baby it. And like I said, it spreads like crazy and it is just super, super versatile and easy to use. So that was yarrow. Next, we will talk about calendula. This is great for skin. So I have a friend Mandy. You met her in last week's episode. She's a functional dietitian. If you listen to last week's episode, then you know her. If not, please go back and listen. She's so fun and so knowledgeable. But her mother is an herbalist, and she teaches at our homestead conference every year. And she makes a wonderful calendula salve, and it's great for rashes, bruises, burns, any sort of skin irritation. She makes a salve that's wonderful. I have it. I have not made my own. At this point, I've grown calendula, but I have not made the salve because I get it from Miss Brenda because she does it so well. But it's also great to use in a tea. It's just the irritation soother. So whether you're irritated on the outside or on the inside, this is your friend. It's pretty easy to grow. It blooms all summer if you keep up with it, if you deadhead it. You can direct sow it after your frost. You don't have to start it ahead indoors. You don't have to baby it. But I have found that if you deadhead it, it will just continue putting off blooms. So that's a fun and easy one, calendula. That would be a confidence booster one to grow. I feel like that and yarrow were just so easy. The next one, I don't grow this because it grows up everywhere. It's coming up every crack in the sidewalk. It's growing in our gravel driveway. This is plantain. And you've probably walked by this and not even known what you were looking at. It's a weed in most people's mind, but this is the ultimate drawing herb. So it soothes stings. It pulls toxins. It's great for bee stings or bug bites or burns. And my kids love this one. This is when I first started dabbling with like foraging and teaching the kids about herbs and medicinal herbs and things. I got this really fun foraging with kids book, and I will link that below because it's just a great little resource and it's great for adults too. But that's the one that they really remembered was plantain because it, like I said, is all over the yard. It's a broad leaf and you just chew it up and apply it directly to the wound. So it's like a fun thing for them to do. So my daughter, even when she was just a toddler, she would come up and say, "Oh, mosquito bit me. I got 2 leaves." And that sounds so crunchy. Like I know how crunchy that sounds, but it really does soothe the bite. So that was just like a quick fun, that one really stuck with them. And my daughter will even say now, she's like, "Oh, that's good. If you chew those leaves up, that'll really help bee stings." She told somebody that not long ago and they were like, "Oh, okay." And I thought, I love that she knows that, but I realize that it sounds really crunchy. But I mean, it's one of those, like I said, you don't have to cultivate it. I guarantee you growing wild all around you. Google what plantain looks like. It's coming up in the cracks on the sidewalk. So, but do be mindful. I wouldn't pick it from somewhere that's been sprayed or it's in a ditch, in the runoff. Pick it from a cleaner area, but the possibilities are endless on where you can pick it. So that's plantain. The next one is echinacea. This is the immune booster and infection fighter. Echinacea has become really more popular in mainstream medicines, just like elderberry has become more popular. It's great for shortening a cold. It supports your immune system. It helps in wound healing. Echinacea is actually a really pretty flower too. Most of these things that I'm naming off are very pretty plants that you would want to grow around your house. So that's always a plus. And with echinacea, you can use the leaves, the flowers, and the roots if you're going to make a tincture. I use echinacea just like I do yarrow. I just dry the flowers and the leaves and keep them in a jar and add it for tea blends. It's just, it's not got a super like astringent flavor or anything. Neither one of those do. It's a mild flavor, and it's really, really a fantastic support for your immune system. Another cool thing about echinacea, just like yarrow, it's a perennial. It comes back every single year. It spreads. It loves the sun. And one thing I did want to mention, I use just the flowers and leaves, but if you did want to use the roots, I read that they are the most potent after they've had 2 years of growing. So just like anything, you probably want to let it become a little bit established before you decide to use the roots for medicinal purposes, just for potency. So that is echinacea. Super just immune kick. That's a really, really good one. Okay, what's next? Let's see. Chamomile. Okay, so I grew chamomile for the first time a couple of years ago. It's very gentle. It's the calming. You've seen chamomile tea, the little sleepy time bear. It's great for stress, for calming your digestive system. It's great for teething babies. Chamomile is a wonderful oil for that. You can infuse it for skin remedies. We used it a lot for teas. That was just like the easy thing. It was a busy summer. We grew some medicinal herbs and flowers, and we've used them for teas. Chamomile was really fun to harvest because it's just like a bazillion little flowers. They're very pretty. They like cooler weather. So spring, I'm thinking back to when I planted it. It's more of a spring or fall crop. It did get really leggy in the summertime, but it really, really thrived early in the spring. And I just direct sowed the seeds. I can't even remember where I got them. It was so easy, and it spread and took completely over the raised bed that they were in, but they were so pretty, and they were kind of similar to calendula. When I deadhead them, they just kept on coming back and coming back. So that's chamomile, a very soothing, calming, sleepy time tea flower. Then on the opposite end, you have peppermint. That's the next one I'm going to talk about. It's also very soothing, but I picture it as more of an invigorating. It's soothing to digestion and great for headaches and congestion. Anytime you have a stuffy nose, I'll add peppermint to the tea. It's also really, really great for upset stomach. You've always heard if your car's sick, suck on a peppermint, or if you're nauseous, suck on a peppermint. Peppermint grown from the garden is great for that also. You can dry the leaves, use it for tea. Just like I mentioned, I've got a jar of peppermint leaves in there also. Also really like to steam it. You can do like a pot on the stove if you have some sinus issues and steam peppermint, and it will really open up your sinuses. You probably want to close your eyes. I will say that. And then one thing that you want to know about any mint is grow it in a pot if you don't want it taking over your whole life like Jumanji. It spreads. It has a root system like kudzu, and it sends runners out everywhere. So definitely, if you grow peppermint, grow it in a pot because it is going to spread everywhere. It's one that we also used if you have chickens. This isn't a medicinal use, but it's a great natural deterrent for mice. So we always plant mint around our chicken coops. So, but we still, you're still going to have some mice. It's a chicken coop, but that is a good tip. We did always do that. Next, we have lemon balm. Lemon balm is the nervous system tonic. It has antiviral power. Lemon balm has been used for years and years and years for calming everything. It's for anxiety and digestion and sleep and so many things. It's incredibly soothing. You can take it in a tea before bed. I love having lemon balm in my cabinet. Just use the leaves. You could also do it in a tincture, like for nervous system calming, for anxiousness. And if you're interested, I know I've mentioned tincture many times. If you're interested in tincture making, Miss Brenda, the local herbalist, is going to be doing a tincture class at the Homestead conference in May, and it's going to be so good. I'm sneaking into that class. I know I'm working that day, but I will be standing in the back of that class, gleaning whatever information she has. So definitely attend if you're local. And even if you're not, make a trip to Western North Carolina. We'd love to see you. So another way, let's see, we're on lemon balm. You could infuse it in oil. It's really good for cold sores. And yeah, that's I'm trying to think. That's the main bullet points that I had for that one. Another growing tip is it also can spread like crazy and become very invasive. So plant it in an area where you don't mind it stretching its legs a little bit. Okay, lemon balm. Let's see. The next one is comfrey. Comfrey, I actually just got a salve of this for my birthday from Mandy. Her mom made it because I have sciatic and hip pain. And this is known as knit bone. It's great for tissue repair, for bruises and sprains and any sort of muscle pain and joint pain. And the first morning I used it, I've only had it for like a week. The first morning I used it, I put it on my hip and I just kind of went around my day and went about my day and didn't really think about it. And then a couple hours later, I thought, my hip hasn't hurt me in a little while. And I thought, well, maybe it's just because I've been up moving around, maybe it was a fluke. I don't know why I would think that. I know that woman knows what she's doing. But I started rubbing it on at bedtime, and I can definitely tell a difference. My hip kills me at night, and I've definitely noticed that it has helped me fall asleep. I can get more comfortable. So I have that in salve form. You can also, infuse it in oil. But I'm very, very impressed with that. I think just reading that, I would still be a little bit skeptical, like, oh, it's good for bone pain and joint pain, but it really has helped a ton. And peppermint is also really good for joint pain. So those are two that you could possibly use together. I need to try that. It's a perennial. It loves moist soil. So keep that in mind. If you're growing it, you probably want to maybe mulch it. Actually, I think comfrey is also great as a mulch. You can grow it and use it as a direct compost on your other plants. So multi benefits there. That would be a gardening episode though. We'll just talk medicinal herbs for now. That's one that you only want to use topically. You don't use comfrey internally. So yeah, that was 10. That was quick. I was trying to do a little bit of a quicker episode today because I know, especially when I have guests on, we tend to chit chat. And I know sometimes, you just need a quick little 20, 30, how many minutes have I been going here? 20-ish minutes. So anyway, my suggestions for if you want to start growing these is start small. You don't have to grow all 10, maybe like 3 or 5 that you will actually use. So maybe you have a space where you want to put a tree. The elderberry grows as a bush. And when I say bush, I mean like mine has grown to a huge tree bush. It's humongous. So bear that in mind. Maybe also look at what grows in your climate. If you're in a more moist area or you've got some spots like that, comfrey would be good. Elderberry likes more damp soil. Or if you want just perennials, bear that in mind. Most of these are perennial, however. I think all of them are now, though. Not garlic. That's not one. But yeah, I will have a list of all these in the show notes. So think about like 3 or 5 that you would actually use. And then my next tip is to plant them close to your kitchen door or close to your house. We haven't planted things. We've got some landscaping in around our new house, but we haven't planted nearly as much as we did at the old house. And there I had gardens with all of this just mixed in, which I loved. It was like a cottage style garden. And I'll put a clip. I have a video from a few springs ago, and it was like the peak of my cottage garden. And there were, flowers just for beauty. And then there were medicinal flowers and herbs and everything just mixed in. And I love that. But I would suggest plant it close to your house where it's easy to use. Or maybe just mix them into your regular garden. That's what I did. And I really loved the way that looked. And I love that they come back every year and they filled in and spread. And I really, really like that full garden look. But like I said, even if you don't have a ton of space and you're not planting these all over creation, these are all things that you can very easily grow in containers. Even if you just have an apartment balcony, that is totally doable for these. And also, so many communities now have like community gardens where you can rent a bed space or rent a plot of land and plant these there. And I just think that's so neat. So, anyway, hopefully you've gotten some inspiration today to add medicinal plants to your garden this year. Even if you just start with garlic and chamomile and pull some plantain out of the cracks in your driveway, then you'll already have a mini apothecary right in your house. So I would love to hear from you guys. If you're growing any medicinal plants, what's your favorite? Or maybe you're not growing it and you're sourcing it from your local herbalist or your local health food store. I would love to hear from you. What are some of your staples in your natural medicine cabinet? And also, as mentioned, if you want to dive deeper into this, we are going to have 2 different herbalists at the Holistic Homestead Conference this year. And actually, we also announced last week that the conference is expanding. So it's now called the Holistic Homestead Conference and Festival. So we will have classes on herbal tinctures and herbal skincare, natural skincare. And I am so excited to dive in. These are very hands-on classes. So you will actually be hands-on with the instructor. You can help make the tinctures. And one of the really special things to us is that you can interact with the instructor. So you can ask questions live in the classes. And then also at the end of the day, we are going to do a panel of all of the instructors all day long. So if there was something that you thought of after the class ended, or you didn't have time to ask your question, whatever, we'll have an entire hour at the end of the day where you can come and ask all of your questions. So I'm really excited for that. And then the festival side of things, the change there is we have so many incredible vendors, and we really want to highlight them. And we also want to make this affordable to everyone. So if you would like to come and shop with our vendors, we have over 30, and it's everything from herbs and tinctures and all of those incredible medicinal plants that we've just mentioned, to we actually have guys who are coming who will teach you how to landscape your property with native plants, and you can talk to them about growing medicinal things also. We have local potters and craftsmen and honey, and just so many really great like hand selected vendors. We're going to have a food truck if you are not able to attend the farm to table meal. If you don't get that ticket, we're going to have music and some breakout sessions. So if you just want to come and shop the vendors and see the property and listen to the music, those tickets are only $5. You want to come and attend all of the classes and be hands-on, we have several different ticket options there as well. And you can also join us for the farm to table meal. So I will put all of that in the notes below this video or podcast, or however you're listening today. We're on all of the podcast platforms and YouTube. So if you're a more visual person and you want to see Coco's cute little face here, it actually behaved very well, then you can check out our YouTube channel, Homegrown Hopes. And if you are interested in attending the conference, you can visit holistichomesteadconference.com to get your tickets. And thanks for hanging out with me today. I'll see you next time.